Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Okay, so excuse me, I picked up some of these things yesterday actually. I got them from Amazon. Doesn't really matter, they come from all different places. So I bought these to protect any crap getting into the motors. Obviously, that's what I got them for. So I had a few concerns. My main concern was whether they're going to vibrate, cause any flying issues, like oscillations, anything like that. These ones just slide over. There's two types. There's another type where it has like another two holes, so you screw these down to there, and then obviously the other one. So they're made of aluminium, the same. Excuse me. So it doesn't matter which type you get, I think they're going to do the same job. So I've done the testing, I put them on, they're going really easy. You're supposed to replace the screws with, or put new Loctite on if you want. That's up to you, but you're supposed to. So I put them on, done a flight, and my main concern was any vibration. So I checked that first, and I was just hovering, and I was like doing this type of thing to see whether it stopped and caused any issues. It didn't seem to have any issues flying. It seemed to be exactly the same because it's all centralized. It's only when you put any weights out. The further you have any weight differences going out, the more problems you're going to get. So it was flying okay, yeah, because there was a little bit of tolerance, but only a thousandth of an inch or something like that. So my next concern was heat, whether these are going to cause the motors to warm up too much. So I done a little flight, 5-10 minutes, and I was just inside hovering, going back and forward and just going up and down and just trying to make the motors work a little bit. And I was in sports mode, so I was flicking it left, flicking right, trying to zoom up, that type of thing. I stopped and I checked the temperatures and they were warm, which I checked the temperatures before and I couldn't detect anything, so I was like, oh, these are warm. So my next step was to repeat that and do it with some sort of, to measure it properly rather than just using that. Now a lot of people use these things. I didn't use this because the area where it comes out of is like, it's not the laser, it could be that area, yeah. So I didn't use that because it's just not accurate enough. So what I decided to use was this with, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little ball on the end, that's the thermistor. So it's really accurate, I mean super accurate. You'd insulate it there and you can just test the temperature of each motor. So I'll show you that, I'll switch it on. If it comes on, there we go, it's on. So now we're on like 78 centigrade. If I just touch that now, 79, 80, 82, 83, so it's going up and down, go down quick again. Ambient air. So if I touch it onto there, obviously it's cold. So 80, it's actually cooling it down now because it's... Anyhow, that's what I've done, and I tested each one. And I found out that they were all within about a degree or so, or a couple of degrees Fahrenheit. I measured it in centigrade, so it was, I didn't do it when it was cold, so I had to stop the test and do it again. But when I'd redone the test, when they were warm, and I felt them, oh, they're quite warm, they were like 32 centigrade, around about 30, 31 to 32. One of them was slightly different, 3 of them was exactly the same. I can't remember which one it was. One was 1 degree out. But for whatever reason, I couldn't detect that any other way, they're just saying the same. And also these feel really smooth, so it's not as if one felt rough or anything. Then I let it cool down and I tested the temperature and it was like 25, 26, something like that. So there's quite a good increase in that. And I done it again where I took them off. So I took them back off. In fact, what I've done is I took the 2 back ones off and left the 2 front ones on. Yeah, so I had 2 on, 2 off, and the difference was about 5 degrees. A big difference in my opinion. So straight away I've took them off, and to cut a long story short, I'm not using them because of that reason. One reason I don't have to worry about adding 4 grams which doesn't sound a lot, and I'm not bothered about that. They do look nice, they make it look nice, and they are going to protect you from any dust, especially if you put it in a bag or in your pocket. If you fold it up and put it in your pocket or something like that, you're going to get, like, you could get things in there. But the heat thing is not for me. So I'm just, this is my point of view. Now, if you notice that these are fully open, pretty much open as much as they can, yeah, to save weight. But if you look at a load of different motors, I mean, there's a motor of I don't know what this is off again, I can't remember. It's Upson 501SS, brand new motor, skeletonized at the bottom, skeletonized at the top, and you can see, yeah, so there's one type of motor. There's another one, a little bit bigger. Again, the theme, they're all skeletonized to catch, they're going to catch the wind, cause turbulence, and the bottom's open as well. Another type of motor, this one's an outrunner one. As you can see, top's open, bottom's open. If you block that, you're going to block a lot of these little side bits, are going to cause loads of turbulence. Yeah. So, not for me. And if I pick on another quad, I mean, I've got lots of quads, but they're all the same look. They're all going to do the same thing. They're all going to be open. There's a bigger quad. Again, ouch, my finger. As you can see, they're all open. The bottoms aren't open, so the top's open. So if the bottom is closed on this one and the top's closed, you're going to keep a lot of heat in there. So a lot of people have said, like, these are heat, because they're made of aluminium, they're going to disperse heat, which is correct. Obviously anything's going to disperse heat, and the most efficient is copper. Now if you look at like a heat sink, I'll just show you a radiator. So there's a radiator there off for like a PC for cooling. You can see you've got copper pipe, and then you've got aluminium radiator, yeah? Fins. Now without a fan on, it'll just disperse heat, like with natural convection. It's just going to move out slowly. Put a fan on and it's going to force that air out. That's why your car has a fan on. Naturally it doesn't need it, and then when it gets too hot it goes on there. So these are, that is the fan. So that's spinning that little arm there, and also the sides of these are going to cause turbulence, and that's going to cool things down massively. So I flew it again, took them all off, flew it again, and I dropped by 5 degrees, which is like, in my opinion, that's like a biggie, 5 degrees, and I wasn't even flying it. Now outside, you're going to get more coolant, obviously, with the wind and things, but still 5 degrees. I mean, it's your choice. I mean, this is all my, this is only what I'm thinking of, but if you think about the magnets which run around the outside, what holds them magnets on? Glue. Now if you want to get some glue off something, say you've got like some residue of glue, you warm it up, don't you? It's like a sticker. You warm the sticker up and then it softens it, and it comes off dead easy. So that's what I'm thinking. I don't want to warm that glue up, I want to keep that glue to do its job. So yeah, so these are getting sent back, and I'm going to keep this as it is. And then I don't have to worry about any vibrations, and don't have to worry about overheating. But yes, they do look nice when they go on, but mainly that's all I would suggest is it's your choice at the end of the day. But when you think about it, 5 degrees, and it might actually be more than that. I didn't test it any longer, but this thing is like super accurate. So using one of them thermometers, the infrared ones, is not just going to give you. Also, when I do a flight, like say when I go for a flight in like a quad, like anything, so I'll just use this one. So what I normally do is I'll fly, like keep it close, 20 feet away, 30 feet away, low down, and I fly around really quick in sports mode, or as fast as I can, just to warm the leads up, and I'll accelerate really quick. I'll bring it in and I'll check the motors, and I'll check to see whether they spin okay, and I'll also touch this bit. You can't feel it with your finger very much because your fingers are not very sensitive, so instead of carrying all this stuff around, I tend to just touch the top of my lip just on the top of my lip, and I go around and I test them all, and I can tell that one's running hotter than them ones. That's just a test I do. I'm not saying you do it, but I'm just saying that's what I do. And they're not going to be like blisteringly hot, because if they were, it would fail. If they're turning and they're all turning the same, yeah, they're all doing the same thing, there's not going to be a problem. If one of them's overheating, and I did have one motor on, in fact I've got one on the Hubsan 501S, which when you turn it and you spin it with the blades on, you can hear it, or you can feel it as well. It feels a bit notchy, just a little bit, and it's probably fine. But when I go for a flight in that and I come back, and I always test it with me, I just put my top lip on there, I can feel it's a lot, I would say like 5 degrees more than the rest of them, and it's easy to see that. Now it's probably going to fail at some point. This is why I've got spares. So what I'll be doing next in that is taking it out, popping the circlip off, taking it out and seeing if I can replace the bearing, because obviously the bearing should be smooth and it's like got a little dimple in it. That's going to cause friction, that's going to cause heat, and that's going to cause the magnets to probably separate, or the ball bearing to collapse and jam up, and then you're going to lose flight. So that's just one of the tests I do, guys. If you do have any damage on your props at all, replace them, because these things are really sensitive to using too much power. So if this one uses a lot more power than that one, because this one's got a bit more friction, you might get a warning coming up, and there's a lot of people where it's been landing, and if you're over water and it'll get a forced landing because it's over power, then that's not good, is it? So yeah. So anyway, guys, if you've got any comments on what we've just talked about there, whether I'm right or wrong, it's only my opinion, drop them in the comments below, and we'll just discuss it. But that's just my opinion, guys. And if you are going to change it, props, make sure you got some Loctite on. Don't over tighten it, because there's only a thin bit of I think these are stainless, to be honest. Could be aluminium, but I think they're stainless. It wouldn't make sense to have aluminium these, because the threads would just strip out. So these are probably stainless, and stainless is not magnetic, is it? So and neither is aluminium, but it couldn't be steel, because steel would be, and that's why these ones are all aluminium. These are all aluminium. Yeah, but I think these are stainless, so because they've only got a thin bit to screw into. That there's only what, a millimetre thick or something. I can't really see underneath. They might have a little lip on there, I don't know, but that's why they've probably done that. But the Loctite is so you don't have to over tighten it, so you can just screw it in, snug it up, and the Loctite holds it, rather than you trying to tighten it up too tight. So just be careful of that, because if you ruin that, you ruin the motor, new arm, whatever, I don't know. Okay guys, if you like this video and you found it useful, I'd appreciate a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, I would appreciate that even more. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.